Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with the final project for the Grungy Christmas Journal. I decided I wanted to go ahead and do a soft cover on this journal, and so I have prepped some things, but mostly we're just going to go in the raw here. I have my regular scissors if I need it to cut this down, but I'll probably bring my big cutter out. I have my sewing scissors as well, and my pinking shears. We'll see what we end up doing. But let's talk about first what I've done here. So this is the fabric that I found. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm glad that I kept looking because this just really fit the aesthetic of the images that I used in the Christmas journal. So that's what we're going to be using. It's really cool. It's glittery. It's got a little bit of texture to it. So that is what I chose for that. So let me just put that away. We don't need it for the moment. So I received a package. I don't even know what I got that was in such a huge package, but look at how big this Amazon envelope is. I mean, I don't even know how big it is. It's, yeah, it's crazy. I didn't mark this one though. I need to remark that. So the idea is we're only going to be using half of this. So we're going to be using this top half, and then I'll just save this one for another journal. And so I already did kind of cut my lines. I think that they're fairly even, but I'm going to go ahead and check if I can find my ruler there. So what I'm doing is this actually is going to measure, the finished cover will measure 6 by 9. I did put the camera way up so you can see more. It's going to have a 3-inch spine allowance, and it's going to have a 3 to 4-inch flap, because this was already part of it. And I thought what fun it would be to make that a closure, a flap. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and remeasure again and make sure that I've got this going the right way, or the right dimensions, because I had to make my line kind of wrong. I mean, kind of raw. So that's 9 inches. That's 9 inches. And that's 9 inches. I did pretty darn good with that line. So it's 9 inches tall, and then we'll deal with this in a second. But happy news. I told you guys I had a jam in my printer when I used vellum, which I've been printing vellum on it since May when I got the machine, and I have never had any problem. They are sending me a brand new replacement printer because it's under warranty, and I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like, I couldn't deal with it. And I'm like, I can't afford to just buy a new printer again. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my scissors and cut along this line. And I want to show you something else that's going on down here in a second when I get this cut in half. And then we'll talk more. I am going to be stitching around this. I'll probably have to take a break in between because I'm going to be using my PVA glue to glue the fabric on. I generally use PVA and Fabri-Tac. It's kind of hard to go straight this long. Here we go. There we go. So I'm going to save this one for another journal. It's a beautiful piece of paper bag, but what we've got going on here is we've got this kind of gusseted end here. So I think what I need to do is open this edge up, or we can probably just, let's see where we're at. So this is my 4 inches. I might change my mind on that. And then we need to be 6 inches from here. So that's this line here. Okay. So let me go ahead and make a line so you guys can see with me what I'm doing. I don't usually come and do a super raw video like this, so thank you for bearing with me as I take a risk here. I'm using my grid here because I don't generally use it, and that's what it's for, right? So let's just use it, okay? And then I can make sure I get that line straight, except we're not on the line. A little bit over, and I'm not used to using a grid at all. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make our line. So that's the that's one side of the cover. It's a little bit off there, but that's okay. Let's see how close we got. It's just a little over 6 inches. I'm not too concerned about that. So then I'm allowing for a 3-inch spine. So let me make sure I did that right in my preliminary look here. So then my 3-inch spine would be here. Okay, because I'm going to have 3 signatures. So that would be that line. And then we should have another 6 here. Perfect. So that means we can't lose any of this. Okay, so let me do that line as well. Bear with me. It's a little bit rough. This is just for the purposes of explaining more than anything. This gets a little bit fluid when you're doing a soft cover. I've only done, I think, 2 other soft covers ever. So that's that. So that's going to allow us an expansion, which means we probably should go a little bit further with this. I wonder if we should go a little further. But I have to open this up. That's my problem. So let me get my scissors in here and get rid of this bit here. So I'm just going to go up the middle to start with. Because it's glued all the way to the top, so that's my struggle here. I wonder if we can tear it without ruining it. I don't know. Should have probably allowed for that, and I did not. So, because I do want it to be doubled. I don't want to lose that weight of it. So I'm going to turn this so I can get this one loosened as well. Hopefully. There we go. So I'm thinking we should go a little bit further than 6 inches, like maybe give myself an extra 1/2 inch for a little bit more expansion. So I did, this was 6 inches, 6 inches to there. So I think I'll go out 6.5, and we'll change that other line on the other side as well. So let me make another mark here, and then we'll cut off that excess. Okay. We'll fix the other end in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut that off. We'll probably glue this together so that it doesn't slip around and whatnot. Okay, there we go. So now, because we're still connected there, that was my main thing. I didn't want the whole thing to separate. So I went an extra 1/2 inch, so I want to do an extra 1/2 inch over here. So I'm just going to move this line for the back cover over a 1/2 inch, okay? Keep breaking my pencil. What's going on here? You know how when you get to the end of that lead, it just doesn't want to play nice. So come on, let's get some new lead. There we go. Okay. So 1/2 inch right there. And let's just go ahead and do that as well. I'm just using this. I have a pretty good eye for this, so I'm not too concerned. So that's that. Okay. Now the thing is if we have it wrap around, potentially, then we have to have more. So let me erase these erroneous lines, and we will reevaluate this end. Okay, so that's now, this is my new line, so I'm going to erase that one just so I don't get confused. Okay, so let's measure one more time just to make sure everything looks good. So that is just over 6.5. How did that happen? And that's just at 6.5. That was really weird. That should be only 6.5. I need to move that line again. Oh my goodness gracious. What happened? So anyway, you guys, I'm feeling so grateful about the printer. Like, it's been giving me a headache every day. Like, I clean the print head every day before I start printing. It will no longer print on 20-pound paper or vellum, or glassine paper. It just, there's something wrong with the print head, I believe. And so, yeah, so grateful. It's still under warranty, thankfully. So, and sometimes you get HP customer service and it's terrible, and sometimes it's just like stellar. So the other thing we want to account for is that I did not account for is that you should probably have, it doesn't probably need a 3-inch new spine over here, but it definitely needs something. So let's see what 3 inches would look like. So that would be 3 inches. I think I want to do that and have that closure so that you've got room. So you have room at your spine side, and then you have room over here for that to overlap and still hold all of your stuff in. I've never done this before, so it could be a disaster. So let's just do 3 and then another 3, okay? Which this is all going to be kind of for nothing in a minute because we won't see all these markings that we've made. So I'll probably have to jot a note for reference. So let me do that really quick. So we have 6.5 by 9, 6.5 by 9. We have a 3-inch main spine. We have a 3-inch what we want to call flap spine. Let's just call it a flap spine, if there is such a thing, and then a 3-inch flap. Okay. And we can look at this before we cover it a little bit more as well. So that should be good. Okay. What did I say? Oh, let's make this line as well. So I'm just going to try to use my grid here and at least line up this line so I can line up this line. There we go. So we can cut off this excess, this extra. So let's go ahead and glue this shut because I don't want this moving around on me. So, oh, it worked. That's already glued, so I don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to get some Fabri-Tac in here so I can get this all situated. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a good press. Just want to get an idea of how this is going to work, okay? So I think it would be good to do a really strong score line for each of these sections, which will help us to be able to identify it as we're working. But I'm going to grab the signatures. I have prepped them, but I can't put them in anything because I'm waiting to be able to print on vellum. So I have pretty much prepared them. So if you stick them in here, let me just hold this up so you can see my theory. So my boundaries here, it's hard to see, guys, I know, and that's going to allow me for some expansion. So it's going to go like that, okay? This is way too big. Well, not really, because you go like this, and then you go like this. It's still too much, isn't it? It's so hard to tell with a soft spine. Oh, we're going to create a template too. That will help us. So I don't know how much we'll get done in this video. It might have to be a part 2 or a pause and come back after I collect my thoughts. So that's my 3-inch. And so this is, let's just do some scoring here. Messing around, Cara-Renee. Let's see what we got. That's not going to work. It's not long enough. Okay, so let's just do a rough scoring with my ruler here. Okay, that would be our, well, that's, so, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't do the flap. Not sure. Jury's still out. Okay, so that's my first score line. And then this is my second score line. Okay, go ahead and fold that in. I'm watching for the bottom to make sure it's pretty straight. Okay, there's that. And then our next one is this one. I think that what I'm doing wrong is I really don't need that extra 1/2 inch because we've got so much that's going to capture that bulk, which you got a 3" and a 3". So I think we might have to move a line again. So yeah, let's just do that. Let's move this line again. I'm so sorry, guys. Not a big deal. Okay. Not a big deal. I'm not going to fret about it, so don't you. We're just learning together, okay? So that is that moved line. This video is for my faithfuls, right? If you're new to my channel, this is not normally how I create. I am very studious in terms of planning and not making an absolute disaster out of everything for my viewers. So let's see how we did there. So, oh, that was way crooked. We're straight at the top though, aren't we? Kind of. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Come on, laugh with me. Laugh with me. You can't laugh at me, but you can laugh with me. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. We're just going to make it at 6 inches, okay? 6 inches. I don't know what I was doing there. Okay, let's use our grid lines like a good girl, Cara-Renee. So I'm going to line up here at the bottom so I can get a straight line. I should have done that to start with. Okay. We're a little bit off, but I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not going to keep doing this over and over. Like literally like 1/4 inch. But we do want to make sure that it's mostly, so 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 and 1/16. So that's perfect. And then we can move this line as well because we only need 3 inches for our spine. So I'm going to go ahead and move that line as well. I didn't want to leave any of this out because I actually wanted to do this with you guys. So I hope you don't mind that we're fussing quite a bit here. Okay, so move that over because it doesn't really matter as long as I'm straight here. Okay, go ahead and get that line in. Okay, let's see how we did. Yeah, pretty good. Let's erase this other secondary line. All right, and then we only need 6 on this side, so we're going to move that as well. Okay, so we're going to just put a line there. This is our last fix. So again, we're lining it up on the grid. My bottom is not completely straight, but I'm not too concerned about that. I might have to square it up, but for now we're just going to keep on trucking. I can probably put it in my cutter. Maybe we'll do that to make sure that that's nice and straight. So we can now cut off at this line. I know this is off camera, but I'm just going to slice that off. There we go. Okay, so that means this is my other score line. Let's continue with that process. Just get that even, Steven. My top edge is straight, I know, because I didn't cut it. So I can use that as my kind of my plumb line, so to speak, and then everything else will be okay if I line up to that. Okay, so there's that, and then let's just go ahead and fold. Yeah, just bone fold that, give it a good crease. Okay, That's that. So let's do the same with this one. Our new line, our newish line. There we go. Go ahead and fold that again. I'm going to use, sorry for the flipping and flopping, I'm going to use this top edge because I know it's straight, because it was not a man-made cut by my hand. There we go. Okay. So that is that. Okay, that's my spine. And then we've already got those over there. So, but I'm really wondering about this whole idea of a, yeah, I love the flap idea. I think that's going to be fine. Okay. So this will be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulated. So this is not a hard line that has to remain. I just basically was doing that for my measuring. I'm going to grab my big precision trimmer here, because it will cut through this like butter. Like butter. So as long as I have all the top edges straight, I should be able to shave off the bottom at my 9 inches and make sure everything is even Steven. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that at the, we're not straight though. Come on, Cara-Renee. That fold is not straight. Let me fix that. Keeps shifting here. Okay. I'm going to line this up with the 9-inch mark right there, and well, it's actually pretty darn straight. Can you guys see over here? It's barely crooked. So just gonna give that a nice trim, and we are golden. Yes. Oh, I love it when I have a win on something brand new. It's tricky, right? It's tricky. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we need to cover this. Okay, so again we have, oh, we need to change this because we changed it back. Goodness gracious. So we've got panel 1. We're just going to call this panel 1 is 6 by 9. Panel 2 is 3 by 9. Panel 3 is 6 by 9. Panel 4 is 3 by 9, and panel 5 is 3 by 9. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when we start getting fabric on here, we're not going to be able to tell the difference. So we're not going to be able to see any of that. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and cover this, okay? And then we might have to take a break. I'll have some lunch and get myself nutrified, and then we'll come back and finish. I'm just moving a bunch of stuff because I don't have any place to put anything. Goodness gracious, Cara-Renee, what a mess you are. It is Friday, January the 3rd, and it's my last Friday of break. I go back to work on Monday, and I'm ready. For the most part, I'm ready. So let's go ahead. I'm just getting some stuff out of the way so I don't get a bunch of glue everywhere. And I'm just going to use my mat the way it is. It's what it's designed for. It's actually designed for mixed media work. So I've got my plate here. Actually, I'm going to put the plate, I want you guys to see it. So, well, we got to cut our fabric down first. Missy. So let's do that. Okay, so I think I've got a yard of fabric here. And okay, so we've got a straight edge there. So I'm going to move this as well. Sorry for the shifting. And I need to go 6 inches. So actually, I need to go bigger than 6. Silliness. Actually, we need to I'm going to allow for about 3/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom, because I think I'm going to have it fold over. I think I'll go an inch-ish. So I'm just trying to get a general idea here. I'm not great at this, so don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. So I should probably have turned that around so that I could rip this. I wonder if I can rip it double. What do you think? Shall we try? Yeah. I love the sound of that ripping fabric. So satisfying. This is directional, and that's what I was catching myself on, is that it is directional. Now I'm wondering if this is going to show any of this black stuff through. So let's put this up here. I don't think it will. Yeah, it's not going to show anything. So that's perfect. So what I do, well, we got to cut it down on the ends as well. So didn't need to put that in your face. I don't like to deal with this strip at the end here, so I'm going to go ahead and tear that off as well. What do you call that? Who the maker is. Okay, so we're going to do the same. We're going to allow about an inch, okay, like so. And then it doesn't have to be precise, okay? I like to have a decent amount to fold over. So let's just do about there, and I'm going to give this a clip and another tear. And then we'll also tear pieces to go in the inside as well, which basically we would need a piece that is basically the 6x9. Not 6x9, well, what is the total math here? So we have 6 and 6 is 12, 15, 18, 21 inches is what we need for our inside piece. So I can do math. Oh my goodness, everything's falling. I wonder if this will work. Ooh. Will this work? I don't know. What did I just say? 6 and 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21 inches is what I need. Oh, it's not quite big enough. That's a bummer. Okay. Yeah, it's not big enough. So I'll use that for something else. So let's just use our grid here and just get that out of the way. And use this. So we're going to go ahead, and I might have to kind of stand up. It's kind of hard to use this grid with the camera, so I'm going to just use my ruler and go, the journal is 9 inches, so we should be able to go, darn it. I'd rather have it be too big than not big enough. So I'm going to go the full height of the journal, which is 9 inches. So I'm just going to clip there. And then I'm going to measure out 21 inches, I'm hoping. So 21 is here. So if I just put that there. Okay, and I'm going to go 21, so that's out. So let me just check the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. So over here, better to be safe than sorry, okay? So I'm just going to clip that. Sorry for the angle there, and I'm just going to tear. Yahoo! And then I can tear on this other cut, and hopefully we're golden. Fingers crossed. Fingers and toes crossed, crossed, crossed. Just throw that stuff on the floor. Okay. So that's our piece for the inside, which should be fine. Let me pull that piece of the cover over. So let's pretend that we already wrapped it around, and this is going to go here. Now it's going to be too big, so see that? So now I can work with it though. I can work with this. I can take off a little bit more off of one edge on the side, And I apologize, I'm not bringing you science today. I'm bringing you exploration, which is my word for the year, is exploration. Trying new things, taking more chances, you know, less playing it safe, okay? So now I can take off about 1/2 of an inch off the bottom as well. And then we'll be right on here. Okay. Fabric is so gorgeous. I love it. Love it. Okay. So that, I feel good about that, because what I want to do is I want to glue this all on. I want to glue this on, and I like this raw edge, but I'm wondering if I should zigzag stitch that or just stitch it in general. What do you guys think? Stitch around this whole piece so that it's prepared for the next step. I think that's what I'd like to do. So I'm just going to move some things out of the way. I'm going to pull my sewing machine over and do that really quick, and I'll be back with you in a moment. This was our other one, right? Yes. Make sure I've got the right stuff in front of me. Okay, I'll be right back. Actually, I just changed my mind. Actually, I think it would be easier to just use the machine and go around this, because all that stitching on the other side will be covered up by the other fabric. So this might not be the way that you do it, but it is the way I'm doing it. But I am going to put a little bit of, well, more than a little bit. I'm going to cover this with some Fabri-Tac other than the really fine edge there. So I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on here just to tack it down. Actually, I need to do this proper like I would if it was the cover. So, I didn't give this a lot of forethought, so hoping I'm not going to wreck this. So we're putting our Fabri-Tac, and then we're going to put our PVA glue as well. I'm not quite going to the edges there, just leaving about 1/2 of an inch all the way around. Okay. Come on, Fabri-Tac, work for me. Work for me, okay? And then the PVA glue, and I'm just going to pour it right on here. I was going to use the plate, but I am a little out of order here, so, and I think that's clogged, so. Oh my goodness gracious, let's just pour some out. Because you actually want to kind of do this in steps. So when I normally do a binding, I put the fabric on like, oh, but no, that's not going to work because, oh, that's not going to work. Okay, we are in for the spin here. So I can't do it that way, because then what comes over from the front of the cover will not be covered. So those raw edges. So I'm changing my mind here. I'm just going to finish this, get more PVA glue on here, and we're going to go ahead and put our top cover on, and then we'll go from there. Sorry for the bumblingness of this process. Exploration. Just keep that in mind, guys. Exploration. This is Cara-Renee's exploration. Taking chances. Taking a risk. You know, not being worried about not having everything planned out to the nth degree. Okay. So I do need to get more Fabri-Tac here. Move that ruler. More Fabri-Tac. I just like that combination, so you certainly do not have to do both. Most people just use PVA, so that should be good. So now what I do is I'm going to bring over the main piece, which is right here, and I'm going to move this for a memento, And we're going to put this down and make sure that, well, it doesn't matter at this point which direction because there's nothing on the cover. So we're just going to lay that out. And then what I do is I just take my cover and I turn it over on top. Okay, like this. Okay, like that. Okay, give that a good smushing. And then I like to turn it over. Oh, we got a mess here. It went all the way through. Grab a wipe here. This mat, I know I say it over and over, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You saw how easy that was to wipe. And then I like to just take a baby wipe and just rub that out, that oozing glue is coming through the fabric. Okay, and I'm going to grab a paper towel. And I like to just go like this with my paper towel just to avoid getting my fingers all sticky, and just really press that down, kind of pulling it, pressing it. What do we want to do? My fabric is not terribly thick, so I don't think I'm going to have any trouble doing this. So I think I'm going to do my normal process where I'm going to fold the corners in, and then I'm going to glue all this down, and then I'll come in with the other piece and put it on the inside. Then we'll stitch around the whole thing. Okay, so you have to be careful. I didn't use a massive amount of glue. Well, maybe I did. I don't, in my opinion, I did not. If you're working with a fabric that's more, you can see through it, you might see places where it didn't really glue, so you want to be mindful of that. But this seems to be pretty good. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to just speed this part up just because we're already 39 minutes in, and what have we accomplished? I do not know. So I'm going to grab more PVA glue. And yes, I know I'm making a big mess, guys, so I'm making a huge mess just getting some glue in there. It's a little bit lifted there. And I'm just folding this in case you were not catching that. I'm folding it at basically a 90-degree angle. It's a soft, packaging, so it doesn't need a lot of force there. The corners are going to be irregular because it is a soft cover. So let me get some more PVA glue. And I should have a smaller brush. Let me grab a smaller one as well here to help myself out. So then I put the PVA glue on top of here, get a little bit in there. That was a little bit of a big flap. Okay. Since we're sewing this on, I'm not too concerned about using as much glue as I often would. So we're just going to do that and call it a day. And then I like to just kind of give that a tug and then just pull it and stretch it so that it is all the way up there. Okay, just like that. We'll have to let this dry before we do any stitching. So again, I'll take a break and have a bite of lunch, and then I'll be back. So I'm going to continue on in the same fashion here, and you guys can just watch. Okay, we have one more edge to do here. This is very, very soft. Yikesies. I guess because it's all wet from the glue, it feels really, really, really soft. So hopefully that's going to be okay. Hopefully it's going to be okay. This is not going to be a mistake. So let's just finish this side together. And then I will take a break and let this dry, and we'll come back and we'll do the sewing, and we'll also do the spine, the spine template. Okay. So I'm basically doing this the same way I would do a hardcover journal. Not as, it's a little bit messier than it would be if I was doing a hardcover, which I usually just use chipboard because we don't eat cereal in this house, so I don't ever have like big cereal boxes and stuff. So it's a challenge to find packaging to do that with. So that is that. Okay, I'm going to just turn this over so you guys can see. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. So I will be back after I have a bite and this is dry. Okay, we are back. I'm hoping that it is dry enough to stitch. Fingers crossed. I forgot that I did not glue on the inside, so I just took that smaller piece and I did the same process. I glued it on with PVA glue and Fabri-Tac. So I'm going to turn to my sewing machine right now and I'm going to, fingers crossed, stitch around this whole beautiful cover. Actually, before we do that, let's play around with the bends here. So again, I can't tell which is which, so we've got, I just want to make sure we have 21 inches, which is what we needed. We should be fine. We've got a little bit of leeway, so that's 12 and 9 is 21. So we're a little bit over, but that's okay. So I'm going to turn and stitch. So I'm going to probably do a couple of rounds because I want to capture this. So I'm going to probably go with a straight stitch all the way around and then come back with a random zigzag stitch as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, I had my fingers crossed that whole time that I would not run out of bobbin thread, and I didn't. So I'm not sure I didn't cut off any strings, so they must have got tucked under. But because it's really hard on this fabric to see all the lines, I did do 3 times around. I did straight stitch, zigzag stitch, and then a wonky straight stitch on top, kind of swerving back and forth under that, on top of the zigzag. So this is actually the front, which you can see it a little bit better. So yeah, I love it. I love it. So the only other thing we're going to do today is we're going to look at this and we're going to make our hidden spines. So basically we want to measure out the 6 inches. So I'm going to kind of press that down. That's 5.5. So we need it to be a little bit more. It's still kind of cool to the touch. So that is about 6. So I'm going to grab a sewing clip. Just a moment. You know, not everything can fit on the desk. Not everything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a clip right there to mark that. Okay, I'll put one at the bottom as well, just so that we don't have to measure again. Okay, I'm just putting it on the underneath side. So there we go. So that's our 6 inches, this side of the clip. So then we're going to measure out from there. We're going to measure out 3 inches. Okay. And we're going to put another clip. This is again just for the sake of the hidden spine. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to move my ruler down. I'm going to turn this the other way so I can see what I'm doing. Right there. And this is just for visual reference here. It's not an exact measurement. Okay. So now we're going to make our hidden spine template. And then we'll be done for today and we'll come back. I might come back and sew the signatures in. So there might be one more video. I kind of lied. Not on purpose, but so that's that. And then that's our spine. And once we get the hidden spine, actually, am I doing a hidden spine or just doing a spine template? I think I'm just doing a spine template. We're going to sew directly into this material. So I'm just trying to get an idea of how this is going to go. So then let's just fold this over. So this is our front cover, our spine. I'm going to fold at that point. And then this is our back cover, which is 6 inches again. feel all over the place. So that's our 6 inches again. So that's, I'm just going to mark approximately where that's going to go. So that's that. And then the rest is our flap. No, that's 6. Then we had our, what? Let me try that again. Not that it's going to matter. Everything's fluid. Okay. So I'm going to move that over a little bit. Just trying to give you an idea of my thinking as I move through this, okay? So then we've got some extra space over here, and then we'll just have barely a fold over here. So for some reason, we don't have as much as I had hoped for, unless I measured wrong. Yeah, see, that's more than 6 inches. So let's move this over, okay? And then the other one would be at the beginning of 9, and then this would be again at 6, so I need to move that clip over. That's why I was so short. Again, just a rough idea here of what we're looking at here. Okay. I wish I had a white marking pen, you know, like they use in sewing. So that's too far. So let's just move that over. But again, we're going to cut our paper, and that's all going to come into focus and make a lot more sense. So I'm going to grab my piece of paper. And I just use a piece of my 65-pound paper, and we're going to cut it down to 6 by 9. So let me grab a trimmer here. Where is the small trimmer? Oh, there it is. 6 by 9. So I'm going to cut it down to 9 inches first. I like it to be the full height of the cover when I do these, and then it's going to be 3 inches wide. Okay. Okay, so that is our spine template. And so then we're going to have, our journal is going to be 3 signatures. So we're going to fold this in half. Okay, give that a good crease. I'm going to get my ink so we can do it exactly like I do it in the real world when I'm not doing a soft cover journal. And I just ink that up really quickly just so that we can see it. And then the next fold is going to be to fold it the other way in half. And you just want it to be as even as possible. Same process. We're going to go ahead and ink that up. Okay, and then one could guesstimate here, but I like to fold it again in half. And let me just ink that so you can see this is the back side of our fold. And so then I'm going to fold up to the middle, which is our first fold that we did where we did it in half. Okay, same here. I'm going to fold it and meet in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to fold one more time. Okay, so we're not even going to ink that one because we don't actually need it. It's just helping us to get to that next half. I'm going to ink the inside of that. Again, that's the underside of that fold so that we can see it. Okay, and then we're going to fold one more time up to this one. Okay, let's go ahead and ink that. And then the other end. Oops, yeah, folding up to that line, give it a good crease, like so, okay? So now we know that when we put this in our journal, actually, let's go ahead and take these off because now we can clip this on and that will help things make a whole lot more sense. And if this video gets too long, guys, you can certainly speed me up, but I don't want to shortcut this process. So I'm at 6 inches here, so that means my spine is here. Okay, so I'm just going to move it down and I'll measure again or line that up again. So 6 inches, 6 inches. Okay, so now I can actually clip this and have it mean something, if that makes any sense. It now means something. Okay, and then down at the bottom as well. It's a little bit short. Or our cover's a little bit big, so I'm just going to yank that a little bit, okay? And we're going to clip at the bottom. And so hopefully we got a little structure here so we can look again at how this is going to fold. So our journal is going to go in here, and this is going to be the rounded spine, and then this is going to fold up. It's going to have a little bit of spine, and it's going to meet over here. Yep, we'll see. You know, and the reality is, guys, if this ends up being too long, I can cut this off and just restitch it. It's not a problem. It'll look a little bit weird because won't have that same rounded corner, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So that is it, my friends, for today. Thank you for hanging out and for allowing me to live my word for the year on this January 3rd of 2025, which is exploration. And that is this idea of getting out of my box, taking some chances in the studio, taking some risks with new processes, new techniques that cause me to stretch a little bit. I need to stretch. We all need to stretch. So that is it for today. I will come back with a second video. When I get ready to put the signatures in, I'll do another video and we will come back and work together on that. So that is it for today, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.